Yep. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye-bye. Ah, hello friends. Welcome back to the TJR Auto Channel. My name is Tyler, and in today's video, we sold the Cobra. Now you might say, Tyler, we thought the Cobra died. Technically it did, but it's not my problem anymore because there's money in here. I promise it's not Monopoly money. So we're gonna try to make this video quick story time because I didn't really film getting rid of the car as I didn't want to be up in the potential buyer's face about it, you know? It was already hard enough trying to sell that car as it was, so I didn't want to complicate it by having my phone sitting somewhere watching. But I could probably steal some clips, honestly, from my Ring camera. But basically, the other day, I had a subscriber hit me up, and then I had this other guy hit me up. Now, shout out to my man, Tim, for being interested in the Cobra and not playing games like everybody else on Facebook did. So, Tim is a subscriber of mine. He has watched some videos on the Cobra, and he basically was interested in buying the car. Now, he had said he was gonna buy it in a couple days, but if somebody wanted to show up with cash, take it. You know, don't hold it for him. I'm like, all right, I appreciate you, but keeping you in mind. And I was actually gonna be pretty happy that the car was gonna go to somebody that has seen all the videos on it, knows what condition I got the car in, knows how the car currently sits, knows basically everything about it that I've showed online, and is willing to take that on and, you know, have a new home for it. I was pretty excited for that, you know. As much as I didn't like the car, I wanted it to go to a good home at the end of the day. But ironically, after having this conversation with Tim, I had another guy hit me up and asked very basic info, really didn't ask much info, actually. And I ended up sending him all the pictures and videos I had of the car, like nice close-up walk around so you could see all the paint blemishes, you know, the little cracks in the fiberglass on the hood, sent very in-depth videos and pictures of the rust in the trunk, the car running, that you gotta start it with the IAC problem, the center console lid's busted, like all the weird, stupid stuff with that car, I tried putting out there because I didn't want somebody to come here from 2 hours away and be looking at a totally different car than what they had in their head. So basically, got him up to speed on the car, and he basically said, okay. We did a little bit of back and forth on money, and I sold it for less than I wanted, but it is what it is. I guess I'll say it. I got $6,500 for the car, and ironically, there was $6,500 in here, but I had to give $150 to my beloved, beautiful graduate girlfriend, Audrey. She just graduated college. Everybody, please give a little, this is me clapping, give a little round of applause and a little congrats, Audrey, in the comments, because she is my baby. But anyways, she scabbed $150 off me. So now we have $63.50 in this package. Anyways, so this new potential buyer showed up that day. He basically said, all right, we can do this number, $6,500, and I can come today, 2 hours away, send me an address, I'll come. So I was like, all right, sounds kind of serious. So I don't like giving my address out, but gave it to him. And he showed up 2 hours later when he said he was going to. So, you know, I gave him the walk around of the car. I pointed out as many broken or busted things that I could. I was trying to be as straightforward as possible. So after we went for a quick test drive, funny enough, he didn't even want to drive the car. I took him out in it, had a little fun, and he was basically like, yep, all right, I have my decision. And then signed the title over. He gave me cash. I gave him all the Mustang parts I had for that car, all the spares and just random bits and pieces. So him and his buddy took everything, and then they started on their 2-hour journey home. Now, I knew they were stopping for food beforehand. I told them, you know, little places they could go. So they went for food locally to me, and then they hit the road going west. And I got a call about 40 minutes into their road trip that the car just died and was sitting on the side of a 2-lane highway, which is a very busy road and a very dangerous road. There's actually a ridiculous amount of like fatal accidents on this road because it's just all woods, there's no lights, and people fly down the road with like no care to anything. They're driving along, the lights turn off. So then they pulled over onto the shoulder. They're letting the car idle, mind you. Let the lights just shut off on their own. And then the car shuts off. I think they played with it for a couple minutes, couldn't figure anything out. So then they called me, and they weren't blaming me or anything. Straight, like, from the get-go, they're like, look, we're not trying to blame this on you or like say that this is your fault, but is there any weird things that could have caused this that like you would know about? And unfortunately, no. Like, I never had that problem. So I was like, the only thing I could think is, you know, alternator or battery or a cable, whether it's a terminal end is busted or loose or corroded, like something came loose, I don't know. Because it's definitely a power issue, right? I was on the phone with them for a little bit. I basically asked, like, hey, part stores are closing as we speak. Like, I'm not going to be able to get a part and get out to you, whether it's a battery or an alternator, or even if it's terminal ends. Like, I don't even actually have any more. I asked them, do you guys want me to load up tools and come out your way and see if there's anything I can do? And they didn't want to make me do that, you know. I felt like I kind of had to at least offer it, and I wouldn't have minded doing it. You know, that I definitely would have filmed. But, yeah, there wasn't really much I could do because they didn't care to have me come out. You know, they're just like, nah, it's fine, don't worry about it. You know, we're just going to call AAA. So I told them, all right, keep me in the loop, like, keep me up to date as soon as you know things. Like, I want to know, like, when you guys are going to be up and going, or like, you know, if you're getting a tow truck, like whatever the case is, like just keep me posted. Like I need to know that you guys are like leaving and safe and like getting home and stuff. At some point later that night, they hit me up and were like, hey, a roadside guy's coming out. They had to wait a while for that. Roadside guy comes out, confirms, jump started the car. So thankfully the car ran. Like, it's like, okay, we know the motor didn't seize up or anything crazy. But basically the roadside guy said, all right, the battery is good, alternator's bad, it doesn't charge. It was reading like 11 volts at idle. So obviously that's not good. So then at that point, the roadside guy, which is not a tow truck man, had to call a tow truck man. And then they did. And I think this all got sorted around 11 p.m. I want to say they got the text from AAA saying 2 to 3 hours for a tow truck. I got a text at 6 in the morning saying the tow truck just showed up. I woke up right before I got that text, and I'm like, that's weird. I didn't hear from them. And I was going to hit them up and say, hey, just whatever happened. 6 hours, 7 hours. They sat there on a pitch black highway, 2-lane highway no less, on a small shoulder in the middle of the woods. That is horrible. You know how bad I felt? I felt like a schmuck. But I told them too, I said, I feel so horrible about this whole thing. Like, I will help you guys out with the tow if it does cost money and needs a tow. Like, just please keep me posted. So, yeah, 6 a.m. the tow truck showed up. Thankfully, the guys got home okay. The car got home okay. But most importantly, like, they were safe. That's all that really matters. But now the Cobra lives 2 hours away from where I live. He hit me up a day ago asking me a quick little question about the car. It wasn't anything crazy. Gave an answer. I'm like, hey, did you ever talk to AAA and like complain that you were stuck on the side of the road for that many hours with no tow truck? And then had to pay $600 up front for the tow truck when the tow truck got there? And previous to that, nobody told you that you were going to have to pay for a tow? Because I've never paid for a tow under 100 miles. I figured, okay, maybe they have the same membership as me because they didn't know what membership they had. And unfortunately, they didn't have the same membership as me, so they did have to pay for it. But $600 for that? That is crazy. At the time of me filming this video, the new owner of the Cobra has not gotten any money back from AAA, but I don't think he has contacted them either. So when he contacts them, I'm very curious to see if there's any wiggle room that they'll give him some money back, because again, that is just insane. The lack of safety concern and the time and the money, those three things, I would have lost my mind if that was me. But thankfully, the new owner is pretty chill. And, you know, when I was talking to him the other day, you know, a day or two after it happened, he was like, yeah, dude, no worries. Like, it's going to make for a good story at some point, you know, like at this point, we're already laughing about it. I'm like, all right, that's good at least. Like, that's good. I'm sure he will hit me up when he gets the car up and going. I'm sure he's going to be excited to be cruising around out where he lives. But yeah, the Cobra is no longer mine, but it did die on its way out because it did not want to leave New Jersey. That is for sure. Now you might say, Tyler, you got some money. What are you going to do with it? Well, a good chunk of it is going to be paying off my credit card so that I'm debt-free from all of my cars. That's where we're starting off, all right? That's not the fun option, but that's the adult option. And unfortunately, I kind of do have to play that card sometimes. So I'm playing that card this time. But yeah, I want you guys to voice your opinions on what you think about getting 6,500 for the Mustang. Yes, I would have liked more for it, but at the end of the day, it was a higher mileage chassis with a non-matching engine and trans. Had a lot of performance work done to it, a lot of parts underneath the car, underneath the hood. But it had plenty of paint blemishes. It had the rust in the trunk. And just overall, it wasn't perfect. You know, it needed love, but most cars on the road today need love. Even brand new cars. Usually they're not perfect either. So let me know what you guys think about that deal. Mind you, the trade chain that got me the Cobra, I started off with a free 94 XJ Jeep. So I don't think we really lost money at all, but I also don't think we made money in the end with all the vehicles I've had through that trade line. A lot of them needed money at some point or another, but I never sank multiple thousands into anything. But that Cobra, I did spend like $1,400 to get it tuned. So that really was the most expensive car throughout the entire trade chain. But overall, I don't think we lost, but it's not like we made a crazy payday off of it. We got a lot of GTO content coming up, a little bit of marquee content, and hopefully, maybe, I'll bring a third whore home again. Who knows? But yeah, that's where we're going to be wrapping up today's video. If you guys want to help the channel out more than you already do, and you want to see some more cool stuff get done to either one of the cars sitting behind the camera, you can get some merch from the link down below. But as I always say, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I truly do appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.